Despite our best efforts, we are not mitigating climate change. At current carbon emission levels, we are headed for warming of between 3.3 and 4.8 degrees Celsius. The pledges made at COP21 in Paris would add up to keep this warming below 2.8 degrees Celsius, but we also admitted at the same time that we should really stay below 1.5 degrees. So if this top-down approach isn't working, what would bottom-up climate change mitigation look like?
As top-down has failed and the world is full of local differences, we actually have to do this bottom-up. We have to energize people's responsibility individually, and we have to rebuild communities that have been eroded as a result of globalization.
Sander worked on a project in China. The goal was to move people from traditional farming to more sustainable agriculture, leapfrogging environmentally harmful industrial agriculture in the process.
One of the things we do is we replace pesticide by introducing large numbers of ducks in the rice fields. The ducks eat the frogs eat the insects, and so we don't need the pesticides anymore. The other advantage is that the ducks add very substantive value to the crop that comes out of the field.
The ducks fertilize the crops.
Well, it's that. But no, the other big thing is that people don't realize that in the West. Chinese eat ducks like we eat grain. They eat ducks every occasion they possibly can.
For breakfast?
So for breakfast also. So they have a huge added value. There's a huge market for ducks. In addition to the rice, we're also introducing new crops. These are the fruits that get transformed into the loofahs with which you can scratch your back.
Oh my goodness, those things are huge. I thought that was like a cucumber.
Oh no, they are 1.5 meters long or more. They're huge.
The result from the climate perspective is sustainable agriculture, but there's more.
People get attracted to the village, and so many of these semi-abandoned villages actually get a new life. And that means that they actually create a new community. Because they create a new community, they take responsibility for their environment, and they actually have an impact politically on how things are going.
Sander is also working in Japan.
At another site, we're actually seeing the importance of culture in a very lively way.
Locals are trying to keep a traditional village festival alive.
And they work all year to prepare the festival. Make the costumes, make the masks, make the decorations and everything else. And the role of the festival, according to some of the participants that we talked to, is that it actually is an occasion to solidify the cohesion of the community and to try and solve problems that have come up in the year, because in this context people have to talk to each other.
Sociologists have found that if we want to overcome differences between social groups, we need to try to find ways of behaving like we're in the same tribe, despite our differences. That's what the Japanese are doing here.
And so they smooth out differences, and that helps the community to actually have a more unified vision on what needs to be done. This festival and what is happening in this village is not only for economic reasons, but actually to recreate a community that threatened to fall apart.
Okay.
The culture creates the shape in which it happens. The driver is the need to create the community. In order to get at climate goals and environmental change in a more general sense, we need these regional and local communities, because they will be driving the locally adapted changes that are necessary to achieve our goals.
In the West, we have been losing this sense of community for a long time.
In the middle of the 19th century, the balance between society and economy fundamentally shifted. Until then, the economy was at the service of the society. From the second half of the 19th century, the society was at the service of the economy. We have to transform family values into corporate values. Many rural but also urban communities are basically disintegrating into individuals. What we have done through globalization is we have basically reduced that dimensionality to only one dimension, which is wealth. And so many people feel that they are no longer valued because they aren't wealthy. For too long, we have left the responsibility for our fate and our everyday life to people much higher up in a hierarchy, and we've done that by delegating the power to decide over us. We need to take that power back. We need to go back to deciding our own fates, and the level at which we can do that most effectively is that of the local community.